Well, hello, everybody. It is Connor. It is your Friday evening preview, and I have to say, it's going to be the last league preview of the season, unless Leeds United obviously make the playoffs, which, as in the playoff sort of final, and we're doing big previews for that. We'll be touching on the semi-finals as well, but there'll be big sort of previews with myself and other people, which I'm really looking forward to next week. Got a few people booked in. So that's going to be really nice. Keep getting your comments in the section below, everybody. If you would like some bonus content, obviously we have Generation Leeds, which was spicy, very, very spicy with my old man. And my old man will be joining me tomorrow for the Leeds versus Southampton final day drama watch along. And we're going to be having a bit of an intense chat live after the game as well. We'll have Gabe's live thoughts after the game as well. So we've got you all sorted for tomorrow. But yeah, and then you have your player ratings on Patreon as well, everybody. So it's a jam-packed weekend regarding Leeds United. We'll have something with Oscar probably on Sunday as well. But yeah, we're going to be getting into your preview today, but it's more of just a general chat. It's a more of, I want to hear where you guys are at regarding Leeds and regarding what's going on. And do you firmly believe that we're in the playoff hunt now? And everybody, listen, by the way, if you want some merchandise, you can get involved in the giveaway by just simply putting in the comment section below. We are going up following back four on either Instagram or Facebook, and you have to be subscribed and you have to be liking each video, and I can track that. So if you get picked out and you haven't liked the video or you haven't subscribed, then I'm gonna have to regenerate that again. But we're going to be announcing the winner after the Southampton game, probably on Monday. So make sure you're tuning in for that, which you'll get an email from myself or a message from myself. And that's any bit of merchandise you want. But yeah, I want to get the gauge on everything, everybody. I want to get the gauge on your thoughts on if Leeds are in with it anymore. Are we going to genuinely be going into this final day with any sort of hope, any sort of prosperity here, or is this just one of those final day damp squibs, which I genuinely never believed it would be. It got to a point where I thought Southampton might be right in it. They could be right in it. But I never thought to myself, both teams are going to be out of it really by the last day. And it feels that way. And that is absolutely mental. Now, the off chance that Ipswich, who are not doing too badly in terms of form at this moment in time, go to Portman Road and their promotion party and they just completely bottle it. And they lose to Huddersfield. There is a possibility of that, of course. But do you know what, everybody? This is an awful thing to say, but I firmly believe even if that does happen, this Leeds United side, being Leeds United, will draw at home. It would not surprise me. Well, maybe not draw, obviously, because but I believe they would either draw or lose. I just firmly believe that's exactly how it would go. You get Adam Armstrong scoring in the last minute or something, even if we're 1-0 up. But I think the general understanding of this game is we have got to be so much better, and that's my message to you guys. And I'm sure that's your message in general, that we have got to be so much better than that disgusting, disgraceful performance against QPR. I've seen a lot going around online saying what was your best and what was your worst performance that you've seen this season. Well, my best was Ipswich and my worst was the other night, last game week, I should say. And last game week was the most important. Ipswich mid-season was, it was important, but we had time to recover. But when it's got to that point of which we all know now, Leeds have faded away. Shout out Oasis, completely faded away. So it's all about now in the clutch moments, in these big, big games that Leeds United are going to have coming up. Can we embrace the pressure? Can we take it head on? And can we ultimately get promoted? Because we still have a massive chance. We were talking about this on Generation Leeds a little bit earlier on. When you look at the form teams in those playoffs, Norwich, West Brom, Southampton, Leeds, none of those teams are in form at the minute. What we don't want to see on the last day is Hull, who are away at Plymouth, to go and beat Plymouth and for West Bromwich Albion to completely blow up. However, and that would obviously put Hull in the playoffs. However, a Leeds-Hull meeting for, 2 games, Leeds United have taken 4 points off Hull. West Bromwich Albion, they've taken 4 points off us. So it swings in roundabouts, really. We've got a good record over Norwich, 6 points in 6. Obviously, they're a little bit different now. Hull, we've got 4 points off, but against Southampton so far. And And of course, West Bromwich Albion, I mean, Southampton were absolutely battered at the start of the season, and West Bromwich Albion did a number on us the second time. The first game was a little bit too hard to test because, we were getting together, we were getting all the data together with our new squad. Shaq and right wing at that point. And then we started settling down with the squad a little bit after that 2-2 draw at Ellen Road. So listen, there's a lot to contextualize now, but as you can probably tell by my tone, I let all of the anger out post QPR. I think now, if something genuinely happens tomorrow, it's great, but it's almost a disgrace as well that we've been let off this many times. It would be an absolute disgrace if we somehow still got automatically promoted, and it would be the football gods, the championship gods working in our favour. I can't see it happening. I really can't see it happening. But if it does happen, absolutely amazing. Now, the team news, as we've spoken about earlier on, the biggest thing that we need to talk about is Pat Bamford. Pat Bamford, who is going to be out for this one, and that means that he's missed the last 3 final games of the season. And Bamford's going through one of his injury spells where he can't straighten his leg right now. Feel sorry for Pat, but it's no good for Leeds United right now because we know who the go-to for the manager is going to be to spearhead the attack, don't we? And put it this way, his initials aren't MJ. So I think that's the slightly frustrating thing from my perspective. I would love to see Pat ahead of Joel Peru at this moment in time. I think the last time we played Southampton, Joel Peru got a 4.3 rating, I believe it was, on FotMob, and SofaScore gave him a really low rating as well. You can download SofaScore and link in the description below, everybody, as well, for the fastest updates on the net through the One Leeds affiliate link. But yeah, listen, Peru was completely gobbled up. And that's what you're expecting now. We did a little bit of extended tactical analysis on the Patreon, of which we've gone through every part of where we can do something to Southampton and where their breakages are in systematic play. Also, everybody, we will be doing a very different giveaway on the Patreon as well. So getting involved over there. For that sort of stuff, link in the description below again. But I think the problem with this is Southampton press a lot. Southampton will press. They showed against Stoke City that they'll press as a 3. And we had Anderson, we had Cher, and we had Lyndon Dykes pressing on Leeds United's back line. What does that mean? Leeds are going to go long. So if Leeds go long, who do you want up there? You want at least a little bit of physicality. You want at least the midfield to join the attack a little bit in terms of competing. Second balls, duels. And the problem is, I don't really rate Joel Peru's aerial chances at points against Jack Stevens potentially and Taylor Harwood-Bellis, who, listen, the reason I wanted to bring up Bellis in particular was we saw a really interesting game with Stoke City where Tyrese Campbell, the centre forward, who's nimble, he's very agile, he's quick, and he's direct, caused Taylor Harwood-Bellis absolute nightmares last week for Stoke City when they confirmed their survival. And Stoke should have won that game 3-4-0. Now, the counterpoint to that, Southampton rested players. However, they still had a more than good enough side out to beat that Stoke City side. Tyrese Campbell caused Taylor Harwood-Bellis nightmares. And like we've seen with players leaning on Ethan Ampadu, I'm thinking Ellis Sims in particular, but leaning on Ethan Ampadu in recent weeks as that weakness in that back two when it comes to physicality. I would love to see Matteo Joseph expose someone like Taylor Harwood-Bellis when it comes to ground duels and pace. Because defenders, what do they hate, everybody? Pace, that 4-letter word. So I think Matteo Joseph, I've been screaming for this pre-Chelsea and post-Chelsea. As you guys all know, I've hung my hat on Matteo Joseph and I will die on that man's hill. He has to start ahead of Perot in this game. There's always an argument he could start ahead of Pat Bamford when it comes to game states. Bamford's probably going to be a little bit better in the physical duels. But, when it comes to on-the-floor pace, trickery, dynamism, you want Matteo Joseph in there. And I feel against Taylor Harwood-Bellis, who struggled in his last game, that might be in the back of his head a little bit as well. Listen, a Matteo Joseph, and if he's fit and firing, if he gets himself a goal, imagine if he scored 2 goals tomorrow to win Leeds the game. Imagine, put yourself in that scenario. How amazing would we feel going in the playoffs? That would make me so happy tomorrow. Okay, we've missed out on the playoffs, but we've missed out on the automatics, but going into this run with Matteo Joseph, who's got off the mark and had a brilliant game, how much better would that make us all feel in terms of Daniel Farke's switched it up a little bit? He's come away from the Joel Peru experiment, which I think right now we can all see is a little bit of a failure. and he's let the young, exciting kid go who might have a bad game. He may have a bad game, but what if he puts in another really, really good performance? What if that happens again? You know, and I think that would make me feel so good going into the playoffs, and it give me a little bit of vigor and a little bit more happiness and belief in this squad that they can go in and do something. Because when I look at this team now, everybody, what do I see? Low confidence, problematic mentality, and just form out the window. Who do you see come on every single time, chomping at the bit to get hold of the ball, going down, a little bit of gamesmanship, tenacity, hunger, anger, I see in his performance as well. Always in the referee's ear, but when he's on the ball, some real bits of quality. Now, a lot of people come on these videos and say, Connor, you chirp him up as if he's Maradona. I don't. I really don't. But when I see that kid come on the pitch, I see that. And do you know what else I see coming on the pitch and doing that a little bit when he's been given the chance? Joe Gelhardt. And I'm not saying Joe Gelhardt starts. I am not whatsoever. But what I am saying is it's a bit different. And it's someone who's not been given a chance. And imagine if he brings them on in these games to play big parts. Maybe it's going to be Gelhardt as a substitute, but then it's Matteo starting potentially if Bamford's out, which we know he is. If they're the changes, imagine those two and they grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And then you go into the playoffs and you go, okay, he's changed it up. And now these two are like two new signings. Because I'm telling you, Joseph on that pitch is a complete breath of fresh air whenever he comes on. And imagine if you just have that spark with one or two players coming in, lifting the entire morale of the team, then going into the playoffs. Because right now, I don't see, and it might have happened, but I don't see how that squad's morale is going to be just completely lifted for tomorrow's game with just the same team and the same idea and the same way of going forward. Now, a lot of people say, Connor, we might get to 93 points tomorrow. Correct. But I'm talking right now. I'm talking post-international break form. Show me that team. Show me some differences when it comes to managerial flexibility, ingenuity. Show me something a bit different, and then I can get back to that mindset. But right now, I feel like I'm getting absolutely smashed into the ground at points watching this side. And there has to be a not just a reaction, but a ridiculous reaction from what we saw, which in the highest pressurized game was the worst moment we've had all season. There has got to be a reaction to that. They've got to put it to the back of the minds, in my opinion. Automatics is done. It's finito. They've finished it. They have bottled it. But now you go and win the playoffs. You've arguably got the best side in the playoffs. You're in the worst form, but you've got the best side in the playoffs. How do you balance that up? How do you get that equilibrium? Change it. Make substitutes earlier. Bring players in earlier. Put that man up front in Matteo Joseph. What have you got to lose right now? What's your alternative? Joe Perot again? Are we going to have another show where we see Peru for 70 minutes again, doing nothing, and then you bring Matteo Joseph on for 10 minutes? Are we going to see a case of Jayden Anthony just being criminally underused when, in my opinion, anyway, even in the 10, in that 3 and behind the striker, he can be utilised because of his technical ability. He's got a really good left foot as well. He's got an excellent right foot, and he's got an eye for a pass, and he's very, very good decision-making. We need to start utilising this. If you don't want to use him, can we use Joe Gelhardt in the 10? Joe's going to shoot like there's no tomorrow. What happens when you shoot? Sometimes you score. It's incredible, but we've not done it enough. Keep getting your comments in the section below. Thomas Timms, thanks for your donation, mate. Who has the bottle to get us up? Somerville is on his own in that realm for me. Rutter looks good with stepovers when it doesn't matter, but where's he being crunch time? Invisible. Thanks for your donation, Thomas. And I think that's what I'm talking about right now, mate. I think, when we talk about the bottle, when we talk about changes, when we talk about influence, that needs to happen. We all know that needs to happen. As fans, we see this. We know what needs to change, but does the manager change it? And this is what I'm saying, Thomas. It's not just down to Daniel Farke, but let's not have this conversation about Daniel Farke also having the tools in his box to be able to change it. I heard Daniel Farke, when we mentioned this on the stream earlier, he mentioned he wishes that he had someone like Sam Morsey or Massimo Luongo in the setup. And it wasn't lost in translation whatsoever. It was said, and I was watching the press conference, of course, because I did the live reaction, but I was watching the press conference and it was said almost like he's envious of Kieran McKenna having Sam Morsey and Massimo Longo. These aren't good players. Sam Morsey isn't a good player. Massimo Longo isn't a good player. I'll tell you who is an exceptional player at this level and should be an exceptional player consistently at this level. Archie Gray, Glenn Kamara, Ethan Ampadu. It's an argument for like Elia Gruev. They're better footballers. They're more technically able than those two. So how I look at it is, okay, experience. Glenn's nearly 29. The others, don't get me wrong, 23, 22, 18. Okay. But I'd rather have technically able footballers at this moment in time. And we've got people in and around the dressing room. In and around the dressing room. You know, you've got Liam Cooper there. Of course, you've still got Dallas on the periphery, you know, giving his advice and all this sort of stuff. We've still got experience there. Bamford. There are players there who have seen it and who have done it. You know, Sam Morsey and Massimo Longo, have they been in the Premier League consistently? Sam Morsey might have had a trip in there for a little period of time, but Bamford's been there. Cooper's been there. Dallas has been there. Joffy's been there. Elan's been there. Pascal's been there. Junior's been there. Somerville's been there. Nonso's been there. How many more? Jaden's been there. So we can go through the entire squad. I'd rather have that experience, to be quite honest with you. Premier League experience, top level experience. I understand what you're saying in terms of youth, you know, in comparison to experience. I get that. But I'd rather at this period have a technically more able footballer than just experience, because I'd rather have our midfield still than what they have. And I thought didn't really like that, if I'm honest with you. And I didn't really like him almost saying it was like, you know, oh, they've got these players. They're not good footballers. They've just got a little bit of experience. You know, let's not have that as an excuse. We have a more than able side, more than technically able side to get promoted. And I want to encourage that. I want the mentalities to increase. I'm sure Farker's doing that behind the scenes. As I mentioned several times, I'm not Farker out. I'm very, very much Farker in. Very much Farker in. But I just think little nuggets like that don't need to be said. They don't need to be said. I do not want Sam Morsey. I wouldn't want a Luongo, you know. Lewis Travis. You know, Lewis Travis, I'd definitely rather have a Leeds United midfield. And I want to see that Leeds United midfield dominate this weekend as well. And I want to see that Leeds United midfield, you know, gain a little bit of reputation back, a little bit of respect after what has been a post-international break where they've been anonymous a lot of the time. Okay, everybody, keep getting your comments in the section below, everybody. Interested to hear what you think about this weekend. I was impressed with Gelhardt when he came on recently. I can see what you mean, Connor. Yeah, IPW. It was just the thing is with, and I've said this on a few videos. People have mentioned Sunderland. His time at Sunderland. He was supposed to be coming in at Sunderland to be a two striker system. It was a two striker system, and it was supposed to be him and Ross Stewart. So you've got a little man, a little enlarged. That's what Mowbray wanted. People never contextualize this. It was supposed to be a little enlarged, him and Ross Stewart. And I think that would have been a really good one. You know, you've got the pinpoint striker there and a number 10. Yeah, that would work. Of course, that would work. Well, it's not guaranteed, but I think that would work, for Sunderland. Ross Stewart then got injured. So then Gelhardt was the number 9. And we all know how that turns out. So that's why it didn't work for him at Sunderland. It didn't work because he's not a number 9. Now, as a number 10, we look at his attributes. He's got a lovely strike on him, a fantastic strike. He's willing to strike the ball. Big game player. He has been a big game player for Leeds United in the past. And in close spaces, in tight spaces where Leeds like to work, Somerville, Nonso, Rutter, you know, Leeds like to work in these tight spaces. We've seen this throughout the season. Gelhardt is very, 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 very good if we're looking at a technically able footballer. So if you look at his tendencies, his attributes, I'd take him at points this season, 100%. JC says, Joffy did start the season and didn't perform. I like Joffy and wished he got more minutes, but I don't think he's the impact player. That's fine, Jay, but context again. What was the side then? What was the side? And I'm not for one saying Joffy should start games. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's an impact player, 100%. He can come on and make changes. Look at what was happening at the beginning of the season. We had a right side of Cody Drame and Jamie Shackleton. So I really, because I wouldn't say Archie was thoroughly performing in those games either. The makeup of the squad was awful in those period of times. It wasn't good, and that was reflected by the results as well. Or off the field activity was horrendous. Sinistera was kicking up a fuss. Nonto was kicking up a fuss. It was all going on. So I'm not going to judge Joffy on what's happened at the beginning of the season. I'm going to judge him on his time and his appearances, for instance, in the Premier League when he was a big game player for Leeds United. And people do seem to forget that. How you, Connor pal? Hello, Paul. Hope you're good, mate. Dave Rogers just says got in from work. Mixed feelings about the game. Hope to see you there, mate. Saints fan here. Huge game. This battle of the bottlers. Farker speaking like we can't do it since we have no experience. Yeah. And Jackie Skill says here, Farker will have to be proactive, not reactive in this weekend's game. Juicy Bay is not excellent. He's not. Well. It really depends how you. He's had a good season, Sam Morsey. I would put that more down to the manager. Sam Morsey's never been like an excellent footballer. It's never happened. Let's not rewrite history. Neither is Massimo Luongo. The manager has done unbelievable things, very very similar to what Bielsa did with the likes of Ayling, the likes of Harrison, Costa, etc., Bamford. So, but Morsey's not an excellent player. He's really not. Experienced players change games. Ampadu needs to step up. He's only 22, Mark. Hi, Connor. I absolutely love your show and appreciate your daily efforts. Thank you so much, bud. Really appreciate it. Jay's also said, I can see Farker switching it back to how it was earlier on the season with Pro in the 10 and Rutter in the 9. Yeah, Jay, I think this is how it's going to go. I completely agree with you. I think that's how it's going to go. It's going to be that again. And whilst it works at points, I just want number 9. And who's the closest you've got to number 9? Joseph, who's grown up a striker. Joseph, put Joseph up front. What's your alternative? A man who plays in front of the defence. So if you're playing a formation of a 4-2-3-1 and you won't change that, your 1 plays like that with the defence like that. So the defence is just looking forward, as the QPR defence we're doing, as we mentioned in the preview. Steve Cook done, etc. Just looking forward. Pro wasn't making any real runs, incisive runs in behind. It's not his game. So we don't have a number 9 apart from Joseph. So let's not put Rutter in the number 9. Let's not do that. But I think we all know what's going to happen. Brett says Leeds 3, Southampton 1, Huddersfield 2, Ipswich 1. I'm praying for this. I can't take playoffs. Brett, it is at Ipswich, mate. I'm not sure you know that, but it is. Sheza says Ipswich deserve their promotion. I don't have a bad taste with them unless they start doing a Leicester and being obsessed with us. Yeah, let's hope that they haven't got anything sort of. I don't know. Did we do anything when we beat Ipswich? I don't know. Was I predict a riot put on at the end of the game? Let's hope not, because that's going to be 3 days of just constant social media posts. I agree. Joseph scared the defense. Bamford doesn't. How good was the meeting you had, Connor? Yeah, if a lot of you guys don't know, I did have a meeting which was really good, establishing a contact with someone at the Niners. And yeah, it's all good stuff. It's all really good stuff. They're not panicked at all. They like Farker. I don't think that's going to change. I mentioned several times that I think Prague mirrors Farker. And yeah, we will. Yeah, the stadium stuff was interesting. Very, very interesting. And yeah, it's all good from board level down. You can choose to believe this. You don't have to believe this. Absolutely fine. But I'm just telling you what happened with me and my experience the other day. Obviously, some things are off the record, but on the record, it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. And hopefully this is going to open a few avenues for me and the channel and stuff like that, which is nice. They got in contact with me and all that sort of stuff. So it's nice having that open discourse with the owners as well, or representatives of the owners, not just people DMing me on Twitter in a potential drunken state, but who knows? But yeah, listen, they're all very, very well sort of. Daniel's very well thought of. The player situation isn't going to be a fire sale, which is nice to hear. And yeah, we'll get into more on that in due course, of course. Connor, I'm not ITK at all. Trust me. There wasn't any like gold mines in there, but it was nice to hear a little bit more on the club and what's happening going forward. And I think, yeah, we're not going to be in the unknown, and we're not going to be in a peril state with the structure that they've built, which I found a little bit more out on, which was really nice. Maybe someday, mate. Maybe someday. Do you reckon Huddersfield won't bother turning up tomorrow just to spite Leeds? No, I don't think that's going to be the case, mate. Huddersfield are going to try win the game like a normal football team will try win any game. But guys, that is going to be it from me. Listen, come back. Get involved in the giveaway. And if you want a narrower pool when it comes to the giveaway, get over to the Patreon as well. We're going to do something next week. But it's all relevant gear. It's all going into the playoffs. It's all the 49ers stuff. It's Archie stuff. It's Jorginho stuff. You can be part of the giveaway. You've got to like this video. Have to like this video. Back four. Follow them on Instagram or Facebook. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, because it's only be subscribers who are part of this giveaway and stuff like that. But yeah, guys, I'm tomorrow going to go for a 1-1. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to win? As I said, bonus content's available on the Patreon right now, but get involved in it, guys. It's well worth it. If you've already ordered, you get a 10% discount as well if you go again. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll see you tomorrow for the watch along. I'll see you tomorrow for the instant match reaction. I'll see you tomorrow also the reaction with Ian, which should be spicy. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Check out the video from earlier on today as well. We've got 2 videos out today, and I'll see you on the other side. Cheers.